Alright, so for this week's deck tech, I've basically done a deck similar to this one. So we're going to do the format a little bit differently. I have a black heroic deck that I did a deck tech on, and I really enjoyed playing with it, but it wasn't where it needed to be. This deck is a simple, not heroic, but it is black aggro deck. And I really enjoy playing this. It's got your big fatties for cheap, and it's got small creatures for cheap, and it's got some removal and stuff like that to help get you through and hopefully win and beat it. So to start off, we have 19 lands. Nothing in here costs more than 3, so there's only 19, and they're all swamps, which is awesome because nothing comes into play tapped. You don't have to worry about anything. If I were to change the mana base a bit, I don't really need to because I'm running one color, so it's all good. If I wanted to make it more expensive, I've thrown some like Bloodstained Mires and Polluted Deltas. That would do it. That'd be more expensive land base. Then I'd be, yeah. Alright, so I also have 2 copies of Thought Season here, because I have 2 copies, otherwise I'd have a full 4 in here, because this card's awesome. 1 mana, you lose 2 life, but being able to see your opponent's hand and get all that information, and then discard their best card off of it is amazing. It's, like, seriously amazing. I also include 3 copies of Bioblight, because I like Bioblight. 2 mana to destroy target creature, and all creatures of the same name. They get not destroyed. They get -3/-3 until the end of turn, which is nice. That's in the main deck for things like soldier tokens, goblin tokens, things like that. It's going to take care of very quickly and easily. I also include 3 copies of Hero's Downfall, and one of them is shiny. Yay! Because that's what I have, and plus Hero's Downfall is good. Taking care of target creature or planeswalker for 3 mana is a good thing. I also have 3 copies of Murderous Cut for more removal. I'm not too sure on this number. It's a lot with Delve, and the fact that you don't want to get rid of all your stuff in your graveyard, like especially Blood-Soaked Champions, makes it a little worse, especially if you draw the 2nd or 3rd one. Makes it a little more difficult to do in this deck, but I do have Dark Betrayals in the sideboard for sure to switch out these because they're better cheap removal if you're playing against a black deck. But these are in here because that's what we have right now in standard for removal. Hero's Downfall and Murderous Cut. So that's awesome. Alright, so those are our spells. See all the spells? They're cool. Woo, that's basically where all my money is. Those 2 Thought Seizes and Hero's Downfall. Yay. Awesome. Alright, creatures. 2 copies of Blood-Soaked Champion because I only have 2 copies of Blood-Soaked Champion. Otherwise, there would be 4 full copies in here. This card is awesome, like I said. 1 mana for a 2/1. It can't block, but who cares? Most of the creatures, quite a few of these creatures in here can't block. Huh. Oh well. Its awesome ability that I really like is the raid. So if you attack, you can pay 2 mana and return it from the graveyard to the battlefield, which is awesome because it makes it so it's so hard to get rid of this guy unless you have like an exile, because you can just keep pulling him back as long as you can attack, which is why I want 4. I will have 2 more soon. I also include 4 copies of Gnarled Scarhide. 1 mana for 2/1 can't block. Also has the possibility you can bestow stuff on it, or use it to bestow on other stuff. That's cool. The best part of this, it's 1 mana for a 2/1. That's what's awesome. 4 full copies of that. I also include 4 copies of Painseer. It's a really nice way to reload your hand. 2 mana for a 2/2. It is a bit slow, and I'm thinking of trading these out with Tormented Hero. 1 mana for a 2/1 instead. That comes into the battlefield tapped. But the problem with this deck is once your hand's gone, it's gone, and that's the Blood-Soaked Champions are there to help that, but I'm really tempted to take these out, like I said, and put in the Tormented Heroes. I think they'd be a lot better. The Inspired ability, so whenever it untaps, you get to reveal the top card of your deck, and you can put that card into your hand. You do have to lose life equal to that mana cost, but life is your resource in this game with this deck. So we're thinking about putting those not in this deck and replacing them with Tormented Heroes. But these guys are staying in. 4 Spiteful Returns. 2 mana for a 1/1. You can also bestow it for 4. But whenever it attacks, defending player loses 2 life. Woot woot! That's always fun to play with. I lost to these the other day playing my playing my Death Touch deck. That's what it was. Yeah, 1 minute or 2 minutes to deal like 3 damage at least. It's pretty awesome. So yeah, those are staying in this deck for sure. I also have 4 copies of Mardu Skull Hunter. This card is interesting. It enters the battlefield tap, 2 mana for a 2/1. It also has a raid ability. Target player, if you attacked target player, target opponent, excuse me, that's important, discards a card. They do get to pick it, but getting rid of something in their hand, I mean, usually it'll be the worst thing, but sometimes it can be very detrimental to them. So that's nice to have, plus 2 mana for a 2/1, that's pretty okay. I'm okay with that. The fact that it, like I said, discards a card, that's kind of nice. So I'm keeping it in here just for that discarding a card effect and helping hopefully take care of some creatures and stuff that I'm too slow to handle with murderous cuts. So that's good. Alright, so our first 3 mana creatures, of course, Herald of Torment. And yes, those are 3 shiny ones. Yeah, they only had foils when I bought my playset. So 3 mana, and you can bestow it for 5 for a 3/3 flying awesome creature. It's amazing. It's a demon. It's awesome. You do have to pay 1 life at the beginning of your upkeep, but like this whole deck is life is a resource. You're trying to win the fastest time, as fast as possible. That is the goal of most aggro decks. Win as fast as possible, and this guy helps you do that immensely. That flying that it has allows you to just go over any ground creatures that your teamer player or whatever may have, even your red aggro player. It's really awesome, especially if you get up to enough mana to be able to bestow it onto something. You can so surprise your opponent with that and they just can't handle it. I really like this card a lot. That's why I have 4 copies of it. And 4 copies of Master of the Feast. This is my favorite big demon fatty. He makes me hungry. And that's probably because he eats a lot. Because he is the Master of Feast. 3 mana for a 5/5. Woot woot. Flying. Woot woot. Your opponent gets to draw a card at the beginning of your upkeep. Whatever. Who cares? They're dead before they can do anything. That is why I play this card. 3 mana for a 5/5. I'll let my opponent draw a card if I get that. And my final 4 slots belong to Mogus's Marauder. 3 mana for a 2/2. And that's okay. When it enters the battlefield, X target creatures each gain Intimidate and Haste until end of turn, where X is your devotion to black. This has beaten me multiple times at my 2 FNMs ago, because I did really well in my last FNM. So the one before that, where I was playing my Death Touch deck, because that one was not... I played against this, like, I don't know how old he was, probably 7 or 8. He was playing black aggro, and he had a bunch of these. He was so little, he had to ask me to shuffle his deck every single time, because he couldn't shuffle his deck. It was adorable. And it was a lot of fun playing with him. At one point, he had all 4 Blood-Soaked Champions on the field. Yeah, I lost that deck, because it was sad. Anyway... Yes, Mogus Marauder was fantastic. Even though I did have black creatures, I also had green creatures, so he was able to give them all haste and intimidate, and because everything has at least 1 devotion, so you're going to be able to trigger all your creatures and give them intimidate, and that's awesome. So that's my edited reversion of my black aggro deck. Less heroic, more non-heroic creatures, more stuff. Like I said, tempted to get rid of the Pain Seers and throw in Tormented Heroes, more cheap creatures and stuff, because that's what this deck's all about, getting cheap creatures out as fast as possible and killing your opponent. That's what most aggro decks are like. That's what my red aggro deck is like, except it's in red. And it has burn instead of removal. It makes sense, though, because that's kind of sort of its form of removal, then. So, let me know what you think of this deck in the comments below. Let me know what I should be changing. Like this video and subscribe for more.